Not every off-grid trip calls for a massive power station. Sometimes we're just heading out for a weekend camp, spending a day by the lake, setting up a fishing spot, or keeping a few essentials powered during a short getaway. In those situations, hauling around a large battery station can feel like overkill. That's exactly where something like the Jackery Explorer 300 starts making a lot of sense. We've been using the Explorer 300 alongside larger units for quite a while now, and while it obviously isn't built for heavy-duty power demands, it fills a very important role. It's small enough to carry with one hand, light enough to toss in the truck without thinking about it, and capable enough to keep the gear most of us actually rely on running throughout a typical weekend outdoors. After spending time with it in real-world situations, here's what we found. The first thing that stands out about the Explorer 300 is how easy it is to bring along. When we place it next to something like the Explorer 1000 V2, the size difference becomes immediately obvious. The Explorer 300 occupies very little space in a vehicle, which is something we appreciate every time we're packing for a trip. The housing feels solid as well. There's no rattling, no flexing panels, and nothing about it feels cheaply built. It has that familiar Jackery construction that many outdoor users have come to trust over the years. With a 293 watt-hour battery, 300 watts of continuous output, and a 500 watt surge capacity, it's designed for essential gear rather than power-hungry appliances. We found it particularly useful for keeping phones, cameras, GPS units, Bluetooth speakers, lanterns, tablets, rechargeable flashlights, and similar equipment throughout a trip. During one weekend outing, we used it to keep a small fan running overnight while also charging multiple devices. By morning, there was still plenty of power remaining. That's really where this unit shines. It handles the equipment that most people actually bring outdoors, rather than trying to be everything for everyone. If you're planning to run coffee makers, electric grills, microwaves, or larger appliances, you'll want something bigger. But if your goal is reliable power for everyday outdoor gear, the Explorer 300 feels very well matched to the task. For off-grid users, a power station isn't just about battery capacity. Eventually, every battery needs to be recharged, and how quickly that happens can dramatically affect the overall experience. Using a standard wall outlet, we saw the Explorer 300 recharge from empty to full in roughly 4 hours. That's already respectable for a power station in this category. Things get even more interesting when taking advantage of the dual input charging capability. By combining the wall charger with the USB-C input, we were able to push the battery to around 80% in approximately 2 hours. For travelers moving between campsites, road trippers stopping for lunch, or anyone preparing for another day outdoors, that extra charging speed can make a noticeable difference. Naturally, solar compatibility is a major consideration for off-grid users. We paired the Jackery Explorer 300 with Jackery's 100-watt solar panel under favorable conditions. Of course, solar charging always depends on weather conditions, sun angle, cloud cover, and placement. But overall, the results felt realistic and useful, rather than purely theoretical. For weekend campers and outdoor enthusiasts, the ability to recharge directly from solar adds another layer of flexibility. Instead of worrying about finding shore power, you can simply set up a panel during the day and let the battery recover while you're enjoying camp. Port selection feels thoughtfully designed for the type of user this power station targets. You get 2 AC outlets, a 12-volt car socket, 2 USB-A ports, and a 60-watt USB-C output capable of charging many modern laptops directly. During testing, we managed to put nearly every port to use at the same time. Phones were charging, a Bluetooth speaker was running, lights were powered, and everything worked without issue. For solo travelers or couples, the port selection feels very balanced. We never found ourselves constantly unplugging one device to make room for another. That said, one or two additional USB ports would have made the unit even more versatile. As more outdoor gear continues shifting towards USB charging, extra ports are rarely a bad thing. No product is perfect, and there are a few minor things worth mentioning. The Explorer 300 works best within the Jackery ecosystem. While third-party solar panels can often be made to work, doing so may require additional adapters or a bit of experimentation. The display is clear and easy to read, but it isn't always instantaneous. Sometimes there's a slight delay before the screen updates after connecting or disconnecting a device. It doesn't impact functionality, but it's something we've noticed. There's also no built-in flashlight. That's hardly a deal breaker, especially since most outdoor users carry dedicated lighting anyway, but it's one feature that some competing units include. What ultimately keeps us reaching for the Jackery 300 is how simple it is to live with. It requires very little thought. Grab it, load it into the vehicle, and go. Jackery rates the battery for roughly 500 charge cycles before capacity drops to around 80%. We haven't reached that point ourselves, but the unit continues performing consistently after numerous charging sessions and outdoor trips. That reliability is difficult to quantify on a spec sheet, but it becomes increasingly valuable the longer you own a piece of gear. The Jackery Explorer 300 isn't designed to power an entire campsite or replace a large capacity generator. Instead, it focuses on doing the basics exceptionally well. Its compact size, practical battery capacity, fast charging options, solar compatibility, and dependable performance make it an excellent companion for weekend adventures, short off-grid trips, and emergency backup situations. Could you find a cheaper power station with similar specifications? Probably, but after spending time with the Jackery 300, we think the value comes from more than numbers alone. It's easy to transport, easy to recharge, easy to use, and consistently reliable. That was our experience with the Jackery Explorer 300. Let us know how you'd use it in your own setup, and if you found this review helpful, be sure to share it with someone looking for a compact off-grid power solution. Peace!